Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Marta's Magical Mystery Class, and this is our 6th video on drafting your novel. The early videos on this channel were all about pre-writing exercises before drafting a novel, and the last 5 and now 6 with this one are all about things that might come up as concerns as you are drafting your novel. One of the things I'm working through as a sort of subset in these drafting videos is a more thorough discussion of the elements of fiction, which are just some things it's good to have rattling around in your brain while you continue your drafting process. So, if you've been tuned into these videos every couple of weeks as a subscriber, or if you have been watching them on your own schedule as you work and as you draft, maybe you are at 25,000 words. That's fantastic. That's a lot of words. Those words represent a lot of work. My hope also is as you are drafting, you are continuing to read craft books, but also read books in your genre. So today, even as I talk about our element of fiction, I'm going to go ahead and draw my review. I usually do a review at the ends of each of these videos, right into the discussion of our element of fiction today, because I think it's such a great example. So, congratulations, 25,000 words, yay you! Keep pushing, because 30,000 words, which will be the next video, is about the halfway point. It's what we're gonna celebrate as a halfway point. So keep up the energy, keep up the momentum, don't worry about editing. If you have a concern about something, make yourself a little side note, keep going forward. In the meantime, let's talk about theme. Now, the word theme might be a little misleading in the context of writing, because we talk about all kinds of things having a theme. Theme even used to be an old word for writing an essay. Oh, you have to write a theme for school. Well, you have to write an essay for school. People will also say, oh, you know, the theme of the festival is history. The theme of the festival is local produce. The theme of the festival is pumpkins. So we do use theme more colloquially when we talk about the theme of a book. It is possible, certainly, to talk about the theme of a book in very general terms. Oh, the theme of this story is love and loss. It's the theme of an awful lot of stories. That's an awful broad theme. Oh, the theme of the book is, and sometimes people will sum up a theme as a kind of proverb or maxim. The theme of the book is the value of persistence. Never give up, never say die. It is possible to say that's what we mean when we say theme, and we're talking about literature. Those of you who are taking literature classes as, you know, kind of an undergrad class, or more particularly those of you who are taking graduate coursework in literature, may already be seeing that the way theme often gets discussed in literary circles is a little tighter definition. When we're talking about the theme of a book, what we're often talking about is the argument of a book. Now, Those of you who are well schooled in composition and rhetoric, which is a kind of sub-discipline for English majors or English graduate students, you know what I'm talking about when I say everything's an argument, or the argument of the book. The theme is the same as the argument of the book. And of course, again, there are people who would argue, I'm certain there are those of you out there who would argue with me to say that the theme of the book and the argument of the book are different. Theme is arena, argument is combatant within the arena. But really, and this is where I'm gonna put my book recommendation right in there and grab some great illustrations for you. My book recommendation today, I've mentioned this as a book anticipation before on the channel, and finally gotten all my ducks in a row to sit down with what was a very, a big book, but a wonderful book. Fenderson Djeli Clark, also on the jacket cover you'll see, and I think maybe listed online as P. Djeli Clark, and I have butchered that name previously. I have since looked up pronunciations. P. Djeli Clark's 3 books in the Dead Djinn series. First is actually a short story, second is a novella, and the third, the one that came out in mid to late May, is a full-length and in fact considerably sized novel called A Master of Djinn. And it's wonderful, and I hope it wins the Hugo and the Nebula for 2021 because it richly deserves both awards. It has all the kind of swashbuckling action and big monsters and lots of things happening that we need in our fan favorite Hugo winners, and it has all of the rich literary investment in character and world building and theme that we need in our Nebula winners, and it has them both, and it does it all. To give you a little background without spoilers, I'm gonna be careful. No spoilers, because I want you all to read this book. It's the best thing I've read this year, and I've read a lot this year. So that's a huge thing for me to say, that this book is the best thing I've read this year. But it really is. It's just, there isn't anything this book does not do. You know, you read something you've been anticipating and it usually meets some marks and misses others. This exceeds all those marks across the board. For me, it's a book I've been waiting for a long time, and it was so worth the wait and then some. This was just wow. It is an alternate history book. It's steampunk, set in Cairo, Egypt in 1912. So we are just on the cusp of World War I. This is pretty late for a steampunk novel to be set. It's pretty late in the Victorian era, if you even want to still call it Victorian, Edwardian. It is a fascinating, I mean, okay, everything is a fascinating historical time, but it has given Clark some fascinating opportunities for the things he wants to discuss, and boy, does he leverage them. It's just really, really beautiful. Clark is a history professor, and I love it when history professors write science fiction. Please, more of you history professors, jump on in. Because what we've got is Cairo, Egypt, 1912, but it's a Cairo that was never a colonial possession. It's an Egypt that maintained its independence with the help of various supernatural entities that were freed and fought on the side of the residents of Egypt. And chief among those supernatural entities are the Djinn, who occupy Egypt and Cairo in particular. And they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, interests, mechanical inclinations, creative practices. Wow. Clark's Djinn are a fantastically fun bunch of characters. And of course, we have human characters in our narrative as well. And we get to return to the protagonist, the story that starts this set of Clark's book. And Clark, I should say, has published multiple other books across the last decade. This is the one I've really been waiting for, but there are lots of other wonderful things out there. This particular universe that Clark has created has just the 3 pieces in it, but the main character of the first short story, A Dead Djinn in Cairo, returns again to be the protagonist of this novel, and that is Fatma al-Shawari, who is an investigator with the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities. And Fatma is tremendous fun as a central character. And so she is, in this instance, tasked with the investigation of murder. So even though I know this is the Mystery Channel, I know I've just gone, science fiction awards, on the Mystery Channel, there is method to my madness here. This is a mystery in a fantastical context. Fatma is an investigator, and this is, in very many ways, a police procedural. There are tremendous ways in which the novel follows the standard formula for mystery. We need means, motive, opportunity. We have our official police investigator and a new partner. Very excited about Hadia as Fatma's new partner. We also have a civilian investigator, City, who is part of the story as well. So we have lots of very traditional mystery elements that Clark is working with to help forward the story, but also working against. And to my mind, when we're dealing with genre fiction, good writers follow the formula. Great writers work both with and against the formula. And I would say Clark is a great writer. He is working both with and against the formula for a mystery novel in this tremendous accomplishment. It is wonderful. There's plenty of suspense, even though at points you think, oh, I've got this all figured out. Oh, I've got, that very satisfying, I know who did it kind of mystery feeling. No, you're going to have that at a couple of points, and you're going to have to keep guessing, and you're going to have to keep turning things around as more clues surface, as more perspectives emerge. It's really a brilliant book. So, recommendation stuff. Let me return to why it's a great example of a book to use when we're talking about themes. So, okay, it is possible in a very general colloquial way to say, Clark's theme is history. Yeah, okay, in a very general way. But if we're going to read like writers, then we need to look for what is it that Clark has to say about history. What is the argument that Clark is making, which will tell us a little more about what Clark's theme is, okay? And I would say the theme, one of the themes in A Master of Djinn, is the damage colonialism can do and has done to the world. I would say one of the themes in A Master of Djinn is the importance of free will and self-determination for individuals and for a people over being enslaved. I would say those are some of the themes that come up out of Clark's novel. There are also things woven in about the inescapability of racial prejudice, but also the ways to prevent such prejudices from becoming more fully woven into the fabric of a culture, more woven into that culture's legal code. So I think there are lots of things, hopefully that gives you some idea when I say theme is more than just what's the book about. Theme is what you think the book might be trying to say. It's telling you a story, but it may also be offering you something else. Now, the dark side of that is it's going to teach you a lesson. Oh boy, the books that teach us lessons are usually really kind of frustrating to read. But the books that want to provoke us to think about the world, that don't offer us foregone conclusions, that offer us anecdotes, evidence, options, those books are invaluable. And I would submit that A Master of Djinn is one of those books. That argument that Clarke is making on the importance of free will and self-determination, Clarke's not going to come right out and say it. Clarke's going to show you what slavery really looks like in this fantastical context. Clarke's going to let you as a reader feel what it would be like if your free will was taken from you, and how miserable that would be. So that is how Clarke is going to convey his thematic content about those things. He's not going to preach. He's not going to be, we say, didactic or teachy about things. He's just going to build this incredible world and let you come to your own conclusions. Obviously, I've come to some of my conclusions having read this. Those may not be the same conclusions you come to reading it, but I do hope that you all read it, and that as you read, you think about the ways in which Clarke is provoking you to think. Think like a writer. Think about what the book is saying beyond the mere fact of the tale. Because that's what the whole element of style, the element of fiction, that's what the theme is about. And I hope you keep reading, you keep writing, and you find the three pieces of P. Djeli Clarke's Dead Djinn in Cairo universe. They're all wonderful, but the novel, wow. And I should say, as a parting shot, I listened to it as an audiobook. The narrator is fantastic. Big fan. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.